How to pursue your calling. There is no one better to learn from than Glenn Henry from Beleaf in Fatherhood. He graciously invited me to his studio, and it was like a masterclass on how to live your calling. The first takeaway I had, and you'll hear him saying this over and over again, is don't wait for permission. He had this room for recording his whatever he record his masterpieces, and the room is not big enough to have like a full ensemble and then have someone recording vocals. So what he did was, instead of putting in a permit and or talking to the landlord and asking if he could cut a wall down, et cetera, is he routed cables over the wall, over through the ceiling into the next room over, put a booth there in the next room over, and created his space. So that just goes to show, if you have a certain vision, if you have a job that needs to get done because you just know inside that you need to do this thing, don't wait for someone to open a door for you.
We didn't want to ask for permission to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
So, so we actually had a big one, and we cut it in half and made two.
Think outside the box. Figure out how you can make it happen yourself. I don't know what that means for you today, but when I saw the booth sitting there, it was just a picture right in front of my face. Like, oh, like I feel like I have all these obstacles. Well, I just need to ask myself, what can I do to get around this, to get through it? Do I really need to do it this way? Can I achieve the same thing doing something else? Another example of this is the puppet show that he's currently working on. There was no one that came to him and said like, hey, I have this much money and I want to build a puppet show for minority kids. It was this tug in his heart that he felt, and he was like, yeah, I got to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, but this is something that I just absolutely must do. I know that wasn't a very sexy one, but it was an important one nonetheless. And now the second takeaway, the second way to pursue your calling is to pursue excellence. I think I was at the office for like 20 minutes, and more than half of the time we spent in this room with like a crazy number of speakers called Atmos, or I don't know if that's the name of the speaker or the name of the setup. Basically, they were explaining how they are pioneering this process, and they want to become a studio where other people can come in and get Atmos certified. I don't know what that means, but my takeaway was, when you do something, when you record music, do it to the best of your ability and then some, right? It must be easy enough for Glenn and the team to just say like, hey, that was a cool beat, like let's just keep making that, but they are constantly pushing the envelope. I think maybe another way to say all this is that you just got to work hard. There are no shortcuts. I was kind of going into the studio wanting to like trying to look for shortcuts, trying to look for best practices or whatever, but my biggest takeaway was, you just got to put your head down. You got to listen to that tug inside your heart. And just no excuses. It's scary. It's even scary for him today to try new things, but there's just no way around it. Set your sights up here, listen to that prompting, and just go for it. The third way that I learned to pursue your calling is to do the thing that excites you. We went into this room where there were little puppets, Z puppets, that Glenn was working on, and we were just chatting and stuff. He was showing us how they work. And then I asked the question like,
your team built it?
I built it.
Oh.
I'm building the smaller puppets. I'm kind of fascinated with like...
No, man, I built all this myself. Like, I have to earn this time to build the puppets. That just shifted my world upside down, because I was thinking like, okay, here's this guy with 1 million plus subscribers. He surely must have a team to like do all these little things that, I don't think about, but it just highlights the why, like the why behind everything. He works on the puppets because he loves doing it. He has to finish his work that has to pay the bills in order to build the puppets. Like, that was just like, dang, like, I went in wanting to ask like, okay, well, I know you keep saying like build a channel and keep asking like, how can you help others? This whole like equip fatherhood thing, like how much of that is real versus like wanting to make content that, will go viral or will get a lot of views. But I was just too afraid to ask that, because it was so evident that throughout the whole time, it was like, are you seriously asking me that? Because the whole time the answers were like, no, I do this because I love it. I do this because I have a tug in my heart. I do this because I've been obsessing this ever since I was a kid. I do this because I didn't want to be a father, and I found out how to be a father, and I want to share and help and, share this with others. So it was like, damn, bro. The whole thing that's super inspiring about this whole thing is that Glenn is not only doing the thing that is exciting to him. Nowadays, you can see that he is so comfortable in his own skin. He's not afraid of looking stupid or saying the wrong thing because he's just so comfortable. And I don't care what it is, whether it's gymnastics, soccer, chess, piano, like, you can see when somebody is comfortable in their own skin, and that's a beautiful thing. Perhaps even more inspiring is doing all this without the promise of a paycheck. And so that is, I think, what holds it's what's holding me back from just doing videos full time is, yes, pursuing this calling, that's great, sounds great, you have fun doing it, I have fun shooting and editing video, but what about the paycheck? Like, how's my family going to get taken care of? And for Glenn, the answer to that is not clear cut, it's not solid. And so you and I have an opportunity to be a part of that. I would strongly urge you to go to beliefingood.org to consider donating to Glenn and his cause. I was just awestruck that somebody would believe in their calling so bad that they would do it without the promise of a paycheck. And this is the least I could do to pitch in to that movement. And if you believe that a puppet show for minority kids is valuable, which I think it is, go to beliefingood.org and donate there. That's it. That's all I got to share today. That man crazy. Okay, maybe you're saying like, okay, John, that all sounds good, but what are you doing about it? I am super risk adverse. And so I have a day job that I do not feel comfortable giving up. I was unemployed last year for a bit on unemployment. And I was like, this is the prime time to do the thing. Like, let's do the thing. And then I was like, what is the thing? I don't know what the thing is. And so that's just not for me. Like, I know in my DNA, there is no tug to just do this thing. There is no this thing. I don't know what this thing is. My version of doing this is to work on a video instead of going to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? So maybe on that particular night, it's to write a script or shoot something or edit something. And that's what it is for me. That's what pursuing the calling is for me. I'm not waiting for permission. I'm not waiting for anybody to tell me, oh yeah, John, like, this is what you're so good at this, you should be doing. No, like, I'm just doing the thing. And as I'm doing it, clarity is coming in, and that's cool. So yeah, I'm just going to keep working on this YouTube thing, one video at a time. But yeah, that's me, bro. When you see a great doing their thing and then you look at yourself and you're like, oh dang, I've got so much to go. It's not a good feeling, but I could use that to get down on myself, or I can use that to fuel myself to get better a little bit at a time. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to use that to get better a little bit at a time. I hope that was enjoyable. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments section down below. I love interacting with you guys in that way. Make it a great day and pursue your calling.
We'll film here. It's really simple.
Mm-hmm.
Just come through, sit down, and we just load up